Yo, make sure you got your paperwork straight. I got Mickey the Truth.
Let's get one thing clear. This your girl, Mickey Truth. South Carolina, 803 to be exact. What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Mickey Truth, aka the Queen of Paperwork, and I am back with another video. As always, all information contained in this video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. All information used in this video is per the Fair Use Act, and any conclusion that you draw is on you, not me. So
the loudest is the weakest. Give a fuck about what they scream.
I was his personal assistant, like, get the paperwork. What they saying? He ain't trust his lawyer. You know what I'm saying? So starting as a teenager, I was into paperwork, understanding it, because I had to take what I heard in court, explain it to my dad, take what the lawyer said, explain it to my dad.
So he accidentally raised a kid who was like fully immersed in how to read legal paperwork at a very young age.
Right, without ever like really being in the criminal system myself.
What kind of charges did he ultimately catch? What kind of stuff was he into?
Robberies, kidnapping, stuff like that.
Okay. And was he not...
Free my daddy, by the way, because he locked up.
He's locked up now, too. For what?
Robbery, kidnapping.
Holy shit. But like, what was he not great at reading, or was he just a little confused by the whole thing?
It's one thing about the legal thing, a lot of words don't mean what you think they mean.
Right.
So to him, lawyers be fast talking salespeople. So like he be like, okay, I get what you're saying, everything gonna work out. That's what that really means. So he'll look at me like, that's what that really means. And then I had to just break it down to him like, well, yeah, that's what I mean, but no, daddy, like, nah, that's not really what that means. So, Truth Team, today is probably one of the days that y'all gonna be like, oh my gosh, Mickey, really? And I'm gonna tell y'all why. As y'all heard on that clip from my No Jumper interview, I have spoke from the start about me and my dad's relationship when it comes to law, why I even started being able to understand the criminal system as a teenager was because of him. And today, after what transpired from the YSL case, which ultimately was Mounk probation hearing, I'm thankful, right, for my dad providing me that guidance and that understanding early, because today shows how much we lack. And I'm going to get into it, but for those who may not be caught up on what's going on, I found a clip from Megan Cuffniff. It's about 8 minutes long. We're going to check it out, and then I'm going to tell y'all what I feel about it.
All right. Well, I find there to have been a violation as alleged. And again, even discounting the item number 8. What is the state's recommendation?
In full candor to the court, Your Honor, I'm going to leave it. The state is going to leave it in the full discretion of the court. Your Honor is fully aware of the conditions. Your Honor witnessed the testimony and how it affected the trial of the case. And I'm going to let Your Honor be the full steward of deciding what the penalty should be as it relates to all of the time that Mr. Sledge still has remaining on probation.
All right. Well, I know that at least I believe in the petition for revocation, the request is that the entire 30 years be revoked. Is that right?
It's not.
All right, so let's pause right there because I just want to touch on it. All right, and this is probably what's going to shock y'all. The state did what they needed to do. A plea was signed, okay? Regardless what verbally was said, a plea was signed. The details of that plea are valid, right? That person that signed that plea got on the stand and did not go by that plea, period. Okay, despite our feelings about the YSL trial itself, this young, I might say young, this individual Mounk still signed it, right? And had to abide by it. So as far as the judge in this situation, she had to do her job. She couldn't have emotions involved in it. And guess what? So many, especially in the Black community, right, fall victim to this. And that's why I'm so thankful to my dad that I understood this early, and not from a point of life like, oh, if you do something wrong, just in general, you got to understand what you're getting yourself into. You got to know. And for those that may think that, oh, well, I'm not going to get in trouble, so I don't have to worry about this. This is the same thing for those who don't read the fine print or understand the fine print when buying a car, when getting a line of credit, things like this. You sign for something, and then you want to speak issues of why you violated the contract or violated the deal. In the court of law, they don't give a fuck about that. The same way if you call your car people and say, well, I didn't know it said I was going to have to pay $5,000 a month. They're going to say, well, you either got $5,000 or your car is going to be taken. Okay? So as far as with these plea deals, you abide by the plea deal or your freedom is going to be taken. Period. Right? And I feel like so many times these street dudes, street women, they want to play games with the system like it's the streets. And this is why I say the court is not no streets. It's not no street business. You can't conduct yourself as is. You can't fast talk. You can't go off of a handshake. Paperwork is king. Or queen in my case, okay? That it's, again, I sympathize with Mounk because I really believe he felt like he could explain himself on the stand. But everybody know what's written is law, period. What's written is key. You don't have no deal without the paperwork. And that's why Baby Truth agree with me. Baby Truth agree with me. Okay. But with that being said, come on, people. We got to read the fine print. Y'all know I'm still babysitting. But let's finish that. I just had to say that because it really touched my spirit with it. Hell, I was even on Twitter spaces talking about it because I feel like us as a people are missing our chance to understand what to learn from this. What we need to learn from this. Okay. This is not just about a corrupt system. This is about us as a society. Can I finish my conversation? Us as a society needing to know when we sign something, we indeed need to understand what we're signing. Okay. So with that being said, let's finish this.
The request.
Or is, oh, you're just telling me that's what he has at this point, although it can't be all of it, right? I mean, he's been on probation for at least a couple of years, and did he serve it? What's left?
He just started on December 8th of 2023. I think he got credit for the time. I think he was in for 2 years. So he would have 26 and change or 25 and change.
I'm sorry, correct, 22.
My bad.
The exact number. That would be 27 years, 7 months, and 8 days.
All right. All right, thank you. Anything else from either side?
No, Your Honor, nothing further from the state.
Your Honor, if it'll please the court. I understand the court's ruling that there is a violation. Ultimately, I guess to some degree, while it's not clearly akin to a substantive versus technical violation of probation, it is a non-violent, non-new offense kind of violation. And I would say if the court is going to violate my client, it would be more germane to treat it as a technical violation. We have expressed to the court different thoughts and reasons for the.
I got to pause it right there. Hey, first and foremost, shout out to Mr. Wright. But Mr. Wright, what you doing is what you should have did at plea of negotiation. You should have told your client the bullshit he was signing up for. You should have told your client, like, I understand you want to go home. I understand your mama is sick, but this is what you're signing up for. And I can't, in my legal profession, have you do this without understanding that. And it seems like he didn't do that. It seems like he pacified Monk's will to go home, and now they're sitting there. Now you want to, because basically what's happening is Moonsung is basically accused of perjury, okay? Because under oath he signed a plea agreement and then got on the stand and said something else. That's perjury. So y'all, yes, this hit close to home for me, and I'm very passionate about this. But we're gonna continue because my grandbaby looking at me like, "What the hell wrong with you?"
The way the testimony came out, you don't know what effect, if any, one way good or one way bad, that has had. But in terms of his violation, I would ask the court treat it more as a technical. He has one grandchild on the way, one that just came early this year with Ms. Jaquila Freeman. So the point is, he has been staying out of the way. He's been complying with probation. I would ask the court to maybe consider if you want to put more restrictions and make his probation much more of a, not just something he's on, but something that now has more teeth to it because he's been working.
Listen, let's pause. And this is personal experience. Had to be about 9-10 years ago, because my mama was still alive. My daddy was facing a lot of time, and I got up in front of that judge at his courtroom, boo-hoo, cried. I didn't even realize I could cry, and I boo-hoo cried, and I said, I'm about to renew my vows and have a wedding. I want my daddy there. And you know what the judge told me? The judge told me, I understand how you feel. However, your daddy done been getting in trouble since 1980s, and Moonsu has a long criminal history, okay? This ain't, so for those that saying, oh, the judge ain't had to do this, and the judge, listen, this man has an extensive criminal record that got to take into consideration. He's not no newbie. He's not green to this. And to be honest, a smack on the wrist wouldn't have taught him a fucking lesson. And I'm just going to be honest, because you know what? The judge gave my daddy a smack on the wrist, right? And only had to do like 2 years. And here we are waiting for him to go to trial again. And I'm telling y'all some real shit. So while we think about this situation, let's keep that in mind. But as far as this attorney, he should have been doing this at plea negotiations. Or he should have let Moonk find another lawyer. And then another lawyer. And then another lawyer. Because I don't see how anybody that is a bar associated lawyer was okay with their client thinking that they could explain their reasoning and not stand by what they signed in that plea agreement. That has me pissed. Mr. Wright, you failed your client.
He's been taking care of his family. He's staying out of trouble. He's turned that corner. And literally, it was always our hope he wouldn't have to come in and testify. And there was a reason the state allowed this plea to go forward so that he could step away. And in doing so, if you recall, you may have remember from his testimony, by no fault of his, he was a victim of a crime where he was shot multiple times and had to recover from that. So we would ask the court to consider some restrictions first, as opposed to custody. And if you do go with custody, we would ask to consider it as a technical type of violation, not a substantive violation in which you would be authorized to give him an even greater sentence. So we would leave it in the discretion of the court, but we're asking again for a non-custodial revocation punishment.
Okay, well, I don't view it as a technical violation or akin to a technical violation, considering the solemn oath that he took when he said that he understood every term within the plea agreement, factual acknowledgments, and sentencing acknowledgments.
Boom. And y'all pay attention to this, okay? Because like when I was on Twitter Spaces a minute ago, a guy was like, oh, when you're in jail and in the streets, that shit don't mean nothing, okay? You got to know what you sign up for when you go to jail. You got to understand this is not the streets. The rules are different. So you sit there and just initial and sign shit just because you want to go home, your ass gonna end up right back in there. Like, guess what? Monk's ass about to end up right back in there.
And understood, and in fact, orally answered that he understood when both asked by the prosecutor and the court at his plea hearing that a failure to abide by any of the terms would constitute a violation of the agreement, and he was notified that the entirety of his probation could be revoked. I do appreciate the fact that this particular violation is a non-violent violation. But I also appreciate the fact that some of the many why this could have occurred include the fact that there is just not a proper regard for the judicial system and the seriousness with which an oath in court needs to be taken. I actually view this much more akin to perjury, frankly, than a technical violation. And the sentence for perjury is up to 10 years. I am going to revoke 5 years of Mr. Sledge's probation. And Mr. Sledge, I am sympathetic to the fact that you have generally stayed out of trouble, and I want to commend you for that. And I really hope that this revocation doesn't set you back. But we've got to take seriously the court system. So that's the sentence of the court. I find there to have been that violation. I'm revoking 5 years.
And
And he will be continued on probation, Your Honor?
And reinstate the balance.
Your
Thank
Honor,
you.
might I ask, is it possible for my client to turn himself in to make arrangements?
I think y'all knew when you came in here that this was a strong possibility. So no, I'm sorry. All right, court is adjourned.
And there you have it. And I'm gonna say this: at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure they should have prepared for him not to walk back out of there. You knew what you were facing for sure. So I'll say this: as far as this situation, him being something bad, he got a life sentence because he could have went back for more, at least 10, especially with the fact that technically he committed perjury. 5 years plus credit for the time he has been free on probation was a smack on the wrist, a slap on the wrist. Okay. But this is what I'm going to say. People, and I've been on Twitter going back and forth with people. Look, people, whether you so-called claim you're a street person, jail person, whatever, when you do things that can land you in jail, okay, and shout out to my daddy and free him for sure, but he understands what comes with the lifestyle he lives, and he knows when he has to go to jail, he's going to be sitting until whatever is in his favor comes to be. And if it doesn't, then he's prepared to do his time, right? So street niggas, okay, they always, especially the ones on the internet, they always want to say, oh, when you in there, you just want to get out. This is what happens when you're not prepared to get the consequences for your actions. This is what happened when all you know is the streets. And then your ass get in jail with a little pressure, you ready to go home, and you're signing your life away without reading it. Okay. So this is what Mickey Truth means when I say the legal system, the courts is not the streets, because obviously, right, you failed at being in the streets because you're in jail, and now you're facing 30 years probation and all that because you don't understand the court system. So I'll say this: educate yourself. Always read what you're signing, whether it's a court document, legal document, credit document, anything. And another thing is this, and this is what I want to leave y'all with, is if you playing in that bucket, meaning in the streets, doing whatever, even if you're doing blue collar crimes, if you're not prepared to sit your ass in a cell, okay, until either you go to trial, or if they do offer you a plea and you don't agree with everything in that plea, you're willing to sit there until it's done, then you need to stay your ass in the house, and you need to, all those things like his lawyer said he was doing, he should have been doing that instead of playing out here with these kids. Okay. So I don't have no sympathy for that. I mean, it's a fucked up situation, but it is what it is. He signed up for it when he signed the plea, right? I don't blame Judge Whitaker. I think she was definitely lenient on the sentence, because I probably, if I was a judge, probably would have gave him 10, just because of what he's been accused of. Also, I don't even blame the state. Now, we got strong emotions about the state, and don't get me wrong, you know, I done cussed their ass out a few times watching the trial, but this ain't that, because at the end of the day, it wasn't on them that Mounk or his lawyer took their word at face value instead of taking a paperwork at face value. That's not on them. They're here to do what they had to do. That's, to be honest, they legally playing dirty. That's not on them. That was on, guess what, the lawyer and Mounk. And also, I do blame Mounk too, because he should have understood better. He should have knew what it entailed to be playing out there in them streets. He done been through this shit too much. That's just like I would tell my daddy the same thing if he was in that situation. Come on, you ain't agreeing to this. And to the lawyer again, a lot of times maybe he was doing it because, you know, a friend of the family. They ain't had much money, they had a little bit of money. But if you wasn't willing to take the money as is to give your 1,000% effort, or if this was too much for you to handle, you should have bowed out and had him get another attorney. Because although you were looking out for him as a friend or extended family member, you failed him. And that is what I feel about it. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. I'm out until next time. And like I said throughout the video, that's my opinion. And if you don't like it, guess what?
I'm like, fuck yeah.
Hold on, wait, before I go, y'all make sure y'all tap in with me to book your slot. A lot of y'all be hitting me up on Instagram and the email wanting to just talk about content, whether you're an up-and-coming content creator or somebody just got questions about cases or whatever. Book your consultation with me now. The information is on the screen. Hey, make sure you get your slot, because my slots be filling up fast.
Loudest is the weakest, give a fuck about what they scream.
Holla!
Shout out Mickey. Mickey, you gonna be big. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
trying to conquer the world. Coming from where I come from. They doubted me, but I came up.